One.
Hey everyone, welcome to another media mentoring call, New Money Media Mentoring with Infopreneur Agency and the New Economy Chamber of Commerce. I'm your host, Omar Briones, with Mike Hayes of the New Economy Chamber of Commerce. And I want to start off by just reading this little quote that Mike came up with that really illustrates the point of being involved in the new economy and being on presenting yourself as an expert in the new economy. So I want to read that. Anybody can be making more new money in the new economy and start keeping more profit, or they can be losing more and more money because of the new economy. That's if you don't know what you're doing, you could be losing lots of money, right? So now to recap today, these calls, what this mentoring program is, it's all about positioning you as the industry leader and putting you in front of millions of people on our radio show, New Money Radio, and being featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox, and over hundreds of other stations around the world. Basically giving you the bragging rights so that you get that instant credibility and authority that comes with it to get you on more stages and more shows, and just give you massive publicity. All right, and it's all about positioning you as the expert in your industry by talking about the new economy, talking about your industry and how is your industry changing because of the new economy. All right. So just some real quick housekeeping rules, just to make sure everyone knows. Those of you who are new here, we're going to be doing a lot of exercises and have a lot of involvement with you. I want you to really get the most out of this program, so you get really the best value as possible. So with that, make sure you have something handy to take notes, to write down with, a piece of paper and a pen, and also be ready to participate, to be active in this. We're going to be asking you questions, having you do assignments and practice. There's also going to be a segment where Mike is going to interview you at the end and practice. We're going to practice what we've learned and what we've been learning to articulate your message, right? Now, one more thing. So before we get started again, because there are some new people here, I hope you can bear with me. Just for the next couple minutes, if it's okay with you, I would like to reintroduce ourselves so you guys know who we are and what our background is and what gives us the right to talk about, to teach you this stuff, right? So real quick, in a nutshell, Mike Hayes, he's a leader in the media game. He is called the Network King because of his 30 years experience in the media industry, working with NBC and CNN, and also in 20 years in the infomercial industry. He's consulted inventors, over 1,000 inventors, to help them pitch their products on infomercial TV. And using the media, he's made over $15 million in sales of his own coaching program, right? And me, I am Omar Briones. I am the CEO of Infopreneur Agency, the company that brought this whole thing together. And for the last 10 years, I've been marketing online. I've been internet marketing consultant, helped over 1,000 clients set up their marketing campaigns and their positioning, their branding, helping them with their messaging to help them get clients with the way they position themselves online primarily, okay? Now we are transitioning to the big time media. I'm getting more involved in that. And Mike is getting involved in the internet technology. So we're kind of helping each other with this new money media evolution, right? It's a revolution. So the whole purpose of this is so that we can promote you on our show in front of millions of people on AM, FM radio, and get you, more business, more leads, more attraction. And it also helps us by, getting, being one of the founding, actually the cornerstone leaders in the new economy. All right, the new economy. That's the topic of this whole entire thing, and that's what we're gonna be helping you understand on how you fit into the new economy and how you can help other people in your industry. All right. So with all that said, now we're gonna get into it. So how this works? A little quick review. First 10 minutes or so, we're gonna kind of review what we've learned in the last call and touch on a new exercise, a new lesson, okay? And then we'll start practicing that for about 20 minutes. And then for the remaining of the call, we will be doing interviews and practicing with each other and giving feedback. All right. So with that said, and one more thing, by the way, this is a paid program. For those of you who did not know, there are some people here who are here as a guest. And if that's you, welcome. Thanks for being here. But you're totally welcome to participate 100%, just like everyone else. And the only difference is the paying members, they get a guaranteed spot on a radio show being featured on ABC, NBC, CBS, Fox. And they get a lot more bonus stuff as well. They get to have the whole collection on the membership site. They get to access the archives. For those of you who are here as free guests, we really appreciate you. And we would love for you to join us on the 90-day program if it sounds good for you, right? Now, don't make any decisions yet. We want to get through the whole call, and you'll see. We believe that this is going to be something that will, really like change your whole business and transform your life, right? So with that said, let's get started officially now. I'm going to just, so Mike, if you can, I'm going to start sharing my screen. You need to stop sharing your screen first, actually.
Me?
So yeah, so Mike, go ahead and stop sharing your screen, and then I'll begin sharing mine. I'm going to get into to review. Oh, here we go. Okay, I think I could do it now. Oops, I'm sorry, guys. Let's ignore what you're seeing right now. Stop sharing.
Ignore the lady behind the curtain.
All right, sorry about that, guys. I'm going to try it again. So this is what I was trying to share here. All right, cool. So pretend you didn't see any of that. All right, so this is a review from last week. All right, you guys, I see a lot of familiar faces. Thanks, everyone here, for being here. You guys were all on the last call. Now, let's see. So we're going to start with the most basic question, but the most fundamental question of all. I want to make sure everyone gets this. The big question of the day is, what is the new economy? Let's hear from you guys. I assume you guys have some more experience with this. So what is the new economy? Just share whatever comes to mind. I'm going to pick on someone if nobody volunteers. Okay, Becky, I'm going to pick on you. All right.
It's a new way of doing business.
Ah, nice. Like that. New way of doing business.
That's
awesome.
The way I see it.
That's great. Awesome. What are some other definitions? What is a new economy to you, Melody?
Am I unmuted?
Yeah, you're good. You're unmuted.
Okay. What is the new economy? I think it's information overload.
Okay, information. Now you said information overload. Do you want to explain that? I mean.
Yeah, I think it's like drinking through a fire hose. There's lots of information on everything that you can think of, but there's a lot of bad information along with the good information, and unless you're an expert, it's very difficult to figure out which is which. I think more and more we need guides to help us navigate through and figure out what information to pay attention to and what to ignore.
Gotcha. Right on. So I'm going to put this over here because this is a part of the new economy. I would say this is kind of what is creating the this is a problem in my point of view, a problem that is creating solutions that are in the new economy, right? So let's go with this now. Information overload, that's one of the big problems. What would be a solution to that? You know, what's like the solution to information overload that's in the new economy? Melody?
I think it's having a guide help you through specialty areas. Awesome. I think that's why coaches are such a growing industry, because people need coaches to help guide them through
right on
their area of expertise.
Awesome. Right on. Awesome. Great. Okay. So guidance and coaching is another really big part of the new economy. So let me check in with Carl now. I'm gonna I don't know, there's someone, if you're putting in something in the chat box, I won't be able to see it. So let's see. Carl, I'm going to unmute you.
Yeah.
Go ahead and share. What is the new economy?
I'd say it's sort of the fairly rapidly changing opportunities that open up, but it's difficult to sustain advantage because it's so easy for other people, once you identify an opportunity, to come in and kind of undermine the first mover. So fluidity, both in terms of opportunity, but risk.
Awesome. Cool. All right, great. Thank you so much. That's a great answer. And I really like what you said last week as well. I'm going to write that in here. It's a new environment. All right. So these are all really great explanations of what the new economy is. I'm glad you guys understand that. It's basically a combination of a lot of things, right? Really, there is no wrong answer here because the new economy is pretty much everything. It is the economy, right? It's the economy that we live in today. That is pretty much what it is. And all the things that go into the new economy, there are just countless things that contribute to it, right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to post a list on here. Just give me a moment. So I'm going to make a list of all the things that I have written out here of what the new economy is. What are some of the things that have contributed to the new economy? Just to save us some time, right? Because I know I could ask you guys for this. Sit on and just see if this is good. I'm thinking, all right, let's do it. All right, so this is kind of these are little components of the new economy, of the economy in general. I'm going to just read through it so you guys get through it. All right. So we're talking about technology, tools, platforms, apps, and sites. These are, for example, Zoom, the app that we're on right now. Airbnb has changed the real estate game. Uber. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do something. I really apologize for that. Let's just edit that out. All right. So I'm just going to put one at a time, right? So we don't overwhelm each other, okay? All right. So we're talking about technology and apps and tools and platforms. These are the things that have continue to revolutionize the whole entire industry, change the game for everyone, right? So for example, like we have Zoom. What are some other examples of these kind of tools, platforms you think have revolutionized the game? I want you to just speak up. Anything that comes to mind. And just go ahead and unmute yourself. Yeah.
Social media.
Right on. Social media.
Cell phones. Mobile devices.
Exactly. Yeah. Cell phones. All right. Anything else, you guys?
It's changed how we communicate with each other. I don't know if you're talking about.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All of these have changed the way we've communicated and have changed industries. That's what it is. It's changed the economy. So Airbnb has changed the real estate economy, and Uber has changed the transportation economy, right? So what are some other examples, some apps or some technology that have changed the game for you? Mike, you can speak up too,
Okay.
I know you're a master at this.
No, Upwork, WeWork. So I think particularly, Fiverr. But for us, I think these Meetup, the way Meetup has changed, the new LinkedIn. What I find the most stunning is that e-commerce and social, which we've all known about for quite a while now, at least in terms of the way I look at things. I think we've known about e-commerce for a long time. It's now reached a tipping point and by itself, but then because of the tipping point came two other things. Along came Uber, Airbnb, and these dramatic effect that it had on different industries. and venture capital. So all the money went, wow, look at that growth. They're bigger than Hilton. You know, they don't even own any property. All of a sudden, all the money in the world started going, holy cow, what's the next Airbnb? What's the next this? And what's the next that? So they started WeWork, and that's now evaluated at $20 billion. A lot of people never even heard of it, but they buy up all this property to break it up into chunks for entrepreneurs to share workspace. And then you have Fiverr, where you can buy, you know, really cool resources for as little as $5. So I'm just going to harness myself, because I can talk for days.
Great. Well, yeah, I appreciate that.
I don't want to do that.
I would add Amazon.
Yeah, exactly. Amazon.
You know, we've seen a trend where there used to be in the economy lots of merchants, lots of places that you would sell, and it was part of the reason you could have a regional brand, if you will, and have some defendable space. But then we saw the rise of the big boxes, and so there was an aggregation of merchandising power, but it was in a handful of big players, a Home Depot or something like that. Amazon has become a big player, but it's also provided much easier access to small merchants. Mm-hmm. So, you know, that's a pretty profound effect when you think about it. That you can, you know, in the book area where I'm involved, it opened up lots of opportunities for bypassing trade publishers. It's changed the economics, but even if you have a device of some kind or some type of little thing, there's this, it's fostering a more intimate relationship between the buyers and sellers, because they can connect electronically through this platform.
Right on. Awesome.
Can
right.
I?
Hold on a sec, Mike. I need to stop everything real quick. Because I want to make sure we get through all of this, and I want to get through the training. Okay, is that cool?
Okay, but I've got a really important point for Carl.
All right,
keep that in mind. I want to come back to it, Carl, for you. I think it'll be good.
Okay, well, Mike, you can put it in a chat box if there's something, you know, urgent, you know, so you don't forget.
I know. I'll remember it. It's such a big problem solver for all of us. So.
Well, all right. So here we go. All right. So I don't know what happened for the last 30 seconds. I got cut off, but I apologize for that. Let's get to this. So what I wanted to illustrate here, these are some examples of technology. And thank you again for sharing, you guys. Great examples. So we had Zoom, Uber, Airbnb, social media, cell phone, Android, iPhone, for example. You know, different apps and platforms, right? Now there are some other stuff here as on that big list that I shared. So here's another one: inventions, innovations, improvements, and solutions. Okay. By the way, I want to just point out the stuff I'm going to share with you. It might seem a little tiny bit overwhelming. It's going to be a lot of stuff, right? I'm just giving you a heads up because I want to get it all out of here. I want to get it all out, and I want to make sure that you get everything. If you're a part of the mentoring program, you will have all of this, you know, written out for you. Okay. All right. So inventions, innovations, improvements. What, challenging the status quo and changing the whole game with an invention. All right. So like, let's say there's a product that is really awesome already. Okay. There's a product out there right now that's really awesome, but there's something that could be improved about it. It can make it quicker, faster, better in some way, more convenient. So there's inventions that come out. And with these inventions, it changes the way that we do business. It changes the economy, right? So some of these tools that we mentioned earlier are pretty much part of are kind of part of the same category, right? So, okay, let's see. So again, these two, they go hand in hand, right? And then it creates another part of the new economy, which is new products and new services. Okay. So we have new technology that leads to new inventions and new products and services. And then these new products and services, they might have some things that can be improved or be made better. So they repeat the cycle and they create new technologies and new innovations. So it's a big cycle of innovation that is one of the big components of the new economy. And now all of this leads to, and forgive me if I'm going a little quick here. I want to make sure we get through this, and we will answer questions if you have any. All of this leads to new business models and new systems, new marketing strategies, okay? So think about it, before Amazon, there was nothing like that before. And because Amazon was created, it's a new business model, okay? Created a whole new business model, and it's a new system. Now it's created more platforms. Let me just draw this out. It's created more platforms like Airbnbs and like what Mike was saying, Uber and WeWork or Upwork, Fiverr, all these sites that have an e-commerce platform. It's been, it's come from, evolutions that have come before that, inventions that have come before that. So it's a constant, never-ending innovation of new solutions, new products and services, and things that help make things easier for everyone, okay? So I'm just going to keep on listing them here. And please do be taking notes, as by the way. This is important for you to know for your own personal business. It's going to make sense in a moment, okay? Why I'm explaining all this, right? So now media channels and outlets, these are like, there's new media that has been created. Now there's, Facebook, and that wasn't around, 40 years ago. And there's, Twitter, YouTube, so many social media sites. There's like hundreds of them, right? And new channels, new platforms, because they have been opened up because of the opportunities that have been out there. Yeah. So I'm going to just go ahead and keep putting these in here. And then there's money, income, and compensation models as well. So on the same term, the same thought of being innovative, innovating the business models and the marketing strategies, all of this has also helped with compensation models, how we share income, how we make money together. It's something we call, joint ventures or collaborations. There's also, and let me just write that down. I wrote that down here too. Compensations and ways we can network and partner up with other business owners. So there's different ways, more ways now because of the new platforms that are out there. All this stuff here is all helping you make more money and get more network, build your network. There's something called digital networking, which Mike is really an advocate of. What we're doing right now, this is digital networking. I'm sitting in Los Angeles. I've traveled the world, and I've done business in Europe and all over the place. And, it's the same. Like I do business with people from like Australia and like the most craziest places like Alaska and, places that I would never have gone, have talked to this person if it wasn't for these innovations in the technology. All right. So digital networking is a brand new thing, a way of networking. Meetup.com. It allows people to collaborate together, etc. All right. So on here, finish this list up. And another thing is new laws and new loopholes that the laws have created, and current events, things that are happening currently in the news or in the world, right? New laws, new things that happen. For example, there's a new law this year about, there's a new tax law, and it's a ridiculous law. It has a lot of controversy behind it. But Mike uses this example a lot. If you're a tax accountant and you don't know about the tax law, the new tax law, you wouldn't want to do, I mean, nobody would want to do business with you, right? Because, you know, you're not doing your job. You don't know what's current, right? So you need to keep up to date with the new laws, the new loopholes that creates. And by loopholes, you know, another word for that is opportunities, right? So a new opportunity that you can take advantage of because of the new laws happening, all right? And finally, on my list, this is just my list alone, is information and education. And education meaning how you are serving, how are you teaching people, right? So you can teach people on something called Skillshare.com, for example, for free. You can be a teacher and get paid for teaching whatever you want. There are, I don't know, probably over, you know, there are thousands of people on that right now teaching their skills, and that's just one platform, right? So education, how are you doing it? You know, coaching with Zoom. Are you using Meetup? Are you hosting events? You know, all these different opportunities in front of you because of the new economy. So that is the end of my list. I just had to share that before. I just want to make sure I get that out. And really, what this whole thing is, it's all creating new opportunities for entrepreneurs. Now, Carl mentioned this last week a little bit, touched on this, is that one of the things that the new economy has allowed for people to do and kind of motivated anyone to do, including children and, you know, people of all ages, right, is start their own business, is create their own income streams, be their own boss. That's what it's empowered. The new economy has empowered people to step up and serve however they can. And really, you know, the question comes down to, you know, how can I serve people to the best I can, right? How can I serve as the most amount of people who need me at the best I can, right? So, for example, with Airbnb, people can now rent out their homes, right? With Uber, people can rent their cars or give cars, you know, they can drive. But e-commerce, they can sell whatever they want. They can make art and sell it, right? So it's like, those are just very tip of the iceberg kind of examples. But I wanted to make sure that everyone here understood all the different things about the new economy and what makes up of it, what makes it up, so that you can see how you fit in the new economy. All right. So with that, now I'm going to just clear. Let me check with everyone here. I know I went through a lot right now. I want to just make sure I didn't lose anyone. Do you guys get this? If you guys are able to, just raise your hand. Just I want to make sure so I get some feedback. Okay, great. Awesome.
We got new vocabulary could be added in there too, Omar.
Oh, great. Yeah, that's perfect. Perfect one. All right. So I'm just going to add that in. New vocabulary. Great vocabulary. And of course, the list is just going to go on and on. There's so many. It's everything about the economy in general. It's all part of this never-ending evolution and revolution of ideas that become new products and new inventions, or new business models, new products or services, new compensation models. It's all just building and constantly evolving each other. So this whole entire thing here is just constantly feeding everything. So it's all part of the same thing. It's all helping each other create more wealth and create more abundance for everyone. So, all right, glad you guys understand that. Now, of course, if you do have any questions, feel free to just ask them away or put them in the chat box. And yeah, if not, I'm going to clear this whole thing. Just a moment. So what I'm going to do before I clear it, actually, yeah, you guys get this? Is this good enough? Do you want me to move on to something else, right? Okay, cool. Let's just clear that out. All right. So again, just to review, real quick, these are all the things that I just mentioned, all right, on that list. I'm just going to move this around a little bit. And what you need to do is to figure out where you fit in this and how you can leverage all of these components to your advantage, and to see where your business fits in the new economy and how does it contribute as a resource to the new economy. All right.
Can I contribute or comment?
Yeah, of course. Yes. Go ahead.
Okay. Two things. One is based on what Adam just said about vocabulary. I'd like to give you guys a quick perspective that's a huge advantage for you. And I don't know if you know about this or not, so I'm just going to tell it to you. I was around at the beginning of the TV infomercial industry when there were 60 people in a room, and Congress was asking questions about what it was, this new industry, and why did it exist. So I've had the chance to see the industry grow from there to 350 billion, and I coined terms in that industry. I was considered a thought leader in the industry. And I would like you guys to know that's where you guys are today. You're like the 60 people in the room of this new industry that is ready to explode. You guys are thought leaders, and I think you should be recognizing that and starting to coin your own terms. We are the guys that create the new vocabulary. We are the thought leaders in this new industry. And believe me, when you start coining terms that become recognized throughout the whole industry, there's no faster way to become a thought leader. When it's like, oh, Adam says it's blah, 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 or whatever. I mean, that's pretty cool. So like radio infomercial is one of the many terms that I coined in the direct response industry. So I say that for you guys. The second thing I'd like to talk about is what I believe one of the strengths is for all of us, that if we recognize this one thing, this is going to stabilize the destabilization that a lot of people are seeing in the future. And here's what I believe it is. Now, I'm going to make a point to drive this home. We cannot go live at Amazon. We can't go stake out a tent and move in there, okay? That's not going to happen. They're not going to let us do that. So where we live is in our communities. And so if we let our community incomes and our small businesses move to Amazon, until Amazon agrees to take care of our streets and our schools and our police, we need to make wise buying decisions, okay? We need to think about supporting our own communities and belonging to our own chambers of commerce, and supporting them and being leaders in our chambers of commerce. The last thing we want is for our chambers of commerce to become obsolete. We don't want that. What we really want is to be able to go there, meet people, network with them, teach them what we know, what we're learning, what we're understanding, supporting the community, and really becoming a leader in our local community. And I'm going to use Carl as an example. But let's say Carl wants to create a brand new information product, okay? And he's got really big plans for it. And he's thinking, Mike, I don't want to just think local. I want to think global with this. This is so big and important to me. And having worked with so many inventions and entrepreneurs, I can tell you that if you get local traction and you get feedback and you make that work on a local level where, even on a small basis, cash flow is coming in, well, then you've got a little cash flow machine. And even if it's local, and let's say you were spending $1,000 on Facebook ads and you got back 10,000, well, then if you spend $1 million, you can get back 10 million. That's kind of the way the direct response industry worked at scale level. So I just wanted to kind of point that out to you guys, that I think one of the biggest assets that we all have is to be the leaders of the fusion of local networking with digital networking. And I don't care if you're a small business or an infopreneur, I think that is true really pretty much across the board, and it's really going to help you to stabilize your business. That's my take on it. And that's from a sociological standpoint, I think.
Right on. Awesome. Thanks for sharing that, Mike. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about the new economy and all these awesome, brilliant things that Mike has, Mike is the I call him the king of the new economy now. He's the new economy king. I wonder if we can make that a slogan. But anyway, join the New Economy Chamber of Commerce. There are calls on Tuesdays for this, all about the new economy. So yeah, make sure if you want to learn more, join that and get to work with Mike on that. So getting back to the point of what I'm sharing here on getting you on to like how to be interviewed and how to talk about the new economy in your industry. The very main basic point here with all of this is that these things come with speed, convenience, simplicity, and easy money, easier money than before. So let me explain what this means is all of the things, by the way, I got dropped off again. Unfortunately, I had to come back in. So let me just paste this back. All of these things that I mentioned here, it's all about giving you more speed, saving time for everyone, giving more convenience for everyone, and making things more simple to understand, simple to follow, and making things easy, easy money. Okay, what I mean by that is getting, because of the new collaborations and the new networking you have, new opportunities out there, it's a lot easier to make money now than it was before. All right. At the same time, like one of the things that Mike also says is that you can make a fortune with this, or you can lose a fortune with this, and if you're not doing it the right way. So that's why we want to make sure you are on the former. You want to make sure that you guys are making a fortune in the new economy. How that's done is, again, finding a way that you can make your industry to save. Why is this green? To make it, things faster and quicker for your clients, for your customers, and for people in your industry, your partners, making it, quicker to consume whatever it is, the product or the service, the thing that they want to accomplish, right, to get their results, and making it more convenient for them. So using apps, whatever it is, using whatever you can, figure out a way to make it convenient for your clients and your customers to get whatever they need. All right. So speed, convenience, and simplicity. One of the things that Melody does, actually, it's like her one of her biggest gifts is turning something that's really complex, like for example, something that you would teach someone, and making that very simplified and easy to consume and easy to follow, easy to get results. Right. So figure out how you can make it more simple, more easy for your clients and customers and your industry, right? And then finally, the easy money. This is just the last on my list, but I'm sure there's more. How you can make more money, how you can make it more easier to make money, meaning working less hard and more smart, okay? I'm sure you guys have all heard that term before. Instead of going all crazy and working hard and pushing yourself to work hourly, change that to figure out a way to make more money with less work. There's many ways of doing that, like with webinars or putting yourself out there on medias and all that good stuff. All right. So again, I know that this is all a lot of information. I know this was like a whole bunch of info just dumped on you. Just make sure that you understand that this is what we're doing here in this new economy. This is what the new economy is. And I shared this with you because I want to make sure you guys can see how you can fit into the whole picture. Okay.
Also, Omar, you are dumping a lot of information, but let's all remember it's cool because we have the pause button. So here's the deal is that you're going to get a recording of this, and I really strongly recommend that. I mean, it's new media. We often take it for granted, but if you keep your mouse on the pause button when you're watching a replay or whatever, don't let something important go by. You know, we get so much information. We're talking about things going so fast. You know, if we don't think about it, we think, oh, that's a great idea. Oh, I got to remember it. And if you pause, then you can think about it. You can mull it over. You can write it down. So don't forget that. Even though you're getting a lot of great information fast, you've got the pause button in the replay, and you'll be able to absorb it at your own pace. Thanks, Omar. Sorry, I'm going to open it. I'm going to upgrade Joe Nicasio, who's just joined us. Hi, Joe.
Oh, awesome. All right, right on. Thank you. So that's a great point. All right, I'm going to move on to a lesson here. This is something that came up from a question that I've gotten a couple times, and from this program alone, and I've heard it many times before. And it's a great talking point for us right now today. So I'm going to clear the board. Again, those of you who are in the mentoring program, you guys have this. You'll get this printed out, so you don't have to write it down if you don't want to. Just remember, these are the things you need to consider that are in the new economy, and how you can contribute using this information, all right? So with that said, now today's lesson, the official thing, I want to share this. There's a difference. I'm going to actually type this in. I'm going to ask you guys a question. What do you think is the difference between an expert and an authority figure? Let's see. Anyone just like unmute yourself, share whatever comes to mind.
Well, I've got a humorous aside. Back a decade or so ago, there was a company that I was working at that was planning to deal with the Sarbanes-Oxley type stuff. And I had an idea to bring an outside accounting firm in to coach me on how to implement it. And it was so early in the process, they hadn't done it either. So I told the partner, said, well, if we get this gig, we'll say we have experience. And he said, well, you know, that's what we say. If we've done it once, we say we're experienced. And he paused and he asked, you know what we call an expert? Someone who flies in.
Oops, I was muted there. Thank you. Awesome. So, summarize, can you say that in one sentence? What is the answer? What is your answer, Carl?
Oh, mine was more of an anecdote there, but I would say the difference between those two, I think expert sounds a bit more intimate, somebody who might actually help you implement some aspect to it, where an authority figure might be someone who can speak to it in a large frame.
Gotcha.
I don't know where you're going exactly with this, Omar, but for me, it's an expert is somebody who knows something, and an authority figure is somebody who's recognized for knowing something. And I think that is kind of an immediate response. You know, an expert nobody might know they're experts. They might be an expert, but you know, somebody who's a recognized authority or an authority figure has the 1-2 punch.
Right on. Awesome. So I let me just share this. So the reason I brought this up is, you know, somebody asks, you know, I'm not an expert in this topic, but I want to get on your show. How can we do that? And again, we're not positioning you as an expert, really. Okay. Just want to point that out. We're positioning you as an industry leader, as an authority figure, all right? So the difference is what Mike kind of touched on, but really you do not need to be an expert. Get this right. This is going to be huge, you guys. You do not need to be an expert to be an authority figure, all right? You don't even need to be an expert to be an industry leader, okay? You just need authority. That's it. That's pretty much it, being recognized. So how many of you all can relate to that? Or how many of you are new in your industry right now, or whatever you're doing right now? Or, you know,
Yeah.
That, you know, you can comfortably say, you know, you're an expert in whatever it is. Just, I want to check how many of you can relate to that. All right, cool. So some of you might be new in your industry, and it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it. You can still be an authority figure in whatever it is you're doing, okay? Now, all right, okay, let's just get back into this. I was gonna say something about Donald Trump, but you know, let's just forget about it. Okay, so here's what you really need to figure out, all right? So there's something called the expert and witness spectrum, okay? What this is, an expert, you know, on the expert side, this is, you know, you are the expert. You comfortably can confidently say you are an expert in whatever it is. So if you have, you know, many years experience, or you just have, you know, lots of experience doing whatever it is, you studied from the best, you've done it, you practiced it, you mastered it, you know, you can comfortably say you're an expert in that, right? So how, all right, so that's being on the expert side. And on the witness side, there is, what I mean by the witness is someone who has learned from the best, can cite their source being really credible, okay, being the expert. So you don't need to be the expert to be a witness, to be an authority, right? But this is kind of where you can fit in. If you're brand new at whatever you're doing, you're more of a witness, but you're, as long as you are honest about it and you cite your sources. So like, remember in like college or high school, you had to cite your sources on your essays and your presentations. It's the same thing in the real world, right? So you want to talk about where you learned whatever study it is, whatever stats or source that you learned something from. Just cite those sources, and you can still be an authority figure even without being an expert, okay? So what I want all of you to do right now is just write down on your piece of paper, write this down, expert and witness, like draw this out. And I want you to position yourself. Where do you stand on the spectrum? Is it more of an expert or more of a witness? We're talking about your specific topic, okay? Whatever you do right now, your industry, all right? And again, it's totally fine to not be an expert. It's 100% cool. It doesn't matter if you are or not. For example, Napoleon Hill. How many of you guys know about Napoleon Hill? Do you guys know who that is? He was not an expert, right? He even self-proclaimed himself not an expert in anything, really in particular. But by positioning himself in front of people as an interviewer, he was interviewing people that he looked up to, who he saw were the most wealthy people in the world. That positioned him in front of people as an authority in the wealth industry, all right? By interviewing the wealthiest people, he has associated himself with them as a witness, learning from them and citing them, all right? So you can be on any side of the spectrum as long as you're honest with yourself and honest with the people you're talking about or you're talking to, on the to your listeners, okay? So why is this important? Now, when we're interviewing you, if you are brand new at what you're doing, you know, don't lie and say, you know, I'm an expert at this, right? Just if you're not an expert, you know, don't say you're an expert. Say, you know, you're just getting started, all right? And just kind of give a full disclosure where you learned it from or who said this thing that you're going to say, right? So again, it's about knowing where you are. And if you are an expert, definitely self-proclaim that and say you are an expert in this, and share the credibility, the things that you've done that led you to that understanding that you are an expert, right?
You know,
Background noise.
Omar, there's a great quote from, can you hear me?
Yeah, hey Joe, go ahead.
There's a great quote from Napoleon Hill. He says, "You failed, congratulations, now you're an expert at what not to do." And so sometimes our expertise is like all the stuff we've studied and we've mastered, but also it's like the lessons we've learned gives us an expertise, you know, at what not to do. And that can be embraced well as long as you package it proper.
Right on. Exactly, right on. Awesome. So, all right, you guys. Now, I'm gonna clear this. Okay, you guys following here? Is this helpful? Is this helping you guys? I want to make sure this is good stuff. You guys are liking this? Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. And you can be honest if it's not. All right. I just want to check in and know. All right. Cool. So, that is the official lesson that I wanted to get in your mind and really get you to see that you don't need to be, this billionaire with like millions of success stories, like, that you can change someone's life and you've done it, you've proved it. You don't need to have that kind of stuff in order to be recognized on TV and on radio and in magazines or online as an authority in your industry. And of course, we want to get you to become leading authorities, the leader in your industry. So there's, anyway, I just want to make sure you guys get that. You guys got that? Good? Okay, cool. So just quickly to go back now, we're going to get into the practicing mode of everything. And let me just put this up on here.
Can I add one thing? And I think I mentioned it last week, but I just to kind of emphasize it again because it's so rampant and
Okay.
so many people.
If you just keep it short, just
just a quick point. So many people have a fear of being a fraud. They have an expertise, but in the bottom of their heart, they think, there's a lot of things I don't know. And I think that's really a human thing that almost everybody feels. But, the way I came to terms with it is that I recognize that I am both an expert, a teacher, and a student at the same time. I'll never stop learning. So I think that's also true of all of us. And I think if you can rest in that, you'll be in good shape.
Right on. Awesome. Very good point. All right. So we are officially moving on to this now. If you have any questions about anything we just shared, feel free to put it in the chat box. I know it was a lot, and I'm glad you guys followed that. So what I want you to do, actually, before we do this, I want to make sure you guys get this. The information that I shared, I want you to write down on your paper, on the expert and witness spectrum. I also want you to think about how you fit into the new economy based on all the stuff that we shared earlier. What kind of products and services out there, inventions and apps and things that are in the new economy are being used in your industry, and how are you able to position yourself in that picture? Okay, so I want you to write that down and make that is your assignment. Okay, so that's what you'll be doing over the next week. All right, before the next call. And that's if you want to get the most out of this program. Okay, of course we're here to help you if you have any questions. Now let's move on to the practicing, and this is what we shared last week. So how many of you have actually filled in these blanks from last week? Carl, good. Becky, good. Awesome. Just want to see everyone. Oh, cool. All right. So we're going to get into some practice. I want you to just follow this model. And of course, it can be in your own words. If you have it written down, pull it out right now because you're going to be saying it and practicing it out loud. All right. Just a quick review. Why are we sharing these first two sections here? What is this here? Anyone want to tell me? Go ahead and it's one word.
Expertise.
Close. I heard it before. Someone else said
authority.
Credibility.
Credibility. Yes, that's exactly it. So this is, authority or expertise, that's all part of credibility. But it doesn't have to necessarily be, I know I spelled that wrong. Whatever. Yeah. Jeez.
Nobody cares.
Whatever. Yeah, I know I spelled that wrong. Whatever. Okay, so that's really important. Great. So why do you need your credibility in the beginning?
To have somebody pay attention to you.
Awesome. Great job. All right. I'm so glad this is getting into your subconscious and getting into your minds. Now, after you establish your credibility, What is this part right here? They're kind of similar, but I mean, I just want to say, you know, if you can summarize this into one word, like what is this?
Problem solution.
Wait, say it again.
Problem solution.
Right on. Yes. Is that Mike?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. Exactly. So it's the problem, really. We haven't really got to the solution yet. The solution is at the bottom, and this is the solution. Right? This is your solution. This is what you do right now. This is your innovation. This is your contribution to the new economy. Right? So, anyone want to volunteer to share their answers?
I will.
Okay, awesome. Thank you.
I will probably
Becky.
stumble all over it.
Let's do this way, all right? I'm just going to ask you, hey, Becky, what do you do? And you're just going to read it word for word, whatever you have written down, okay?
Okay.
All right. Hey, so Becky, tell me, what do you do?
Well, for the last 20 years of my career, I've been doing human resources. So I've been working with higher level executives and managements in corporations, helping them get the best out of the people they work with, out of their career, and out of their life. What caused me to pause and actually take a different direction and step out of human resource role was more, I was really sad to see how many people have the inner conflicts that are stopping them from stepping out and stepping into their power, stepping into what they want in life, stepping into the money they want to earn in their lives. And I call those little roadblocks, I call those inner conflicts, or they're glass ceilings. So right now, I work with people to help them break the inner glass ceiling, to help them work with those inner conflicts where they feel like they're a fraud, where they feel like they're not an expert, they feel like they're not good enough. And to also work with the beliefs that stop them from stepping out once they get in touch with those beliefs or those roadblocks that they have internally. And then I teach them how to work with people on the outer level and get the most out of that and deal with the conflicts in their life that are inevitable in doing business. So that's what I'm doing now. And I stumbled all over that just horribly, but I did it.
Huh. Yeah, you're great. Great job. Let's give her a round of applause. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much, Becky. So I just want to quickly point out that you did mention all this right on the money. It was great. And everything you did was great. If this was not about the radio show, it was great. Okay. But I mean, I probably should have mentioned that this is about the radio show, and we want to know exactly what is the new economy caused for you. You know, that's what I'm looking for.
And I can answer that. I just didn't put it in there. But.
Gotcha. Yeah. So anyway, just for the record, again, for everyone else, we want to know, how has the new economy changed your industry? What kind of problems has it caused in your industry? Not necessarily problems just in general, but problems about the new economy. Kind of frame it that way. Okay.
Can I add one thing for Becky, or just a suggestion? At the top part, Becky, I thought it could have been maybe a little bit stronger. And I don't know what the statistic would be, but I would say something like this. I helped over 500 people rise to a new level in human resources. Over 20 years, I helped 572 people rise to the next level in their career. And that was a great accomplishment, but still it left me thinking there was more work to do in helping people overcome their belief system. So I think a little more fact, hard-hitting fact at the top part, I thought it was a little general.
Right.
Yeah. That's fine.
Definitely. Right on. Good points. Definitely. And of course, we're always going to keep on improving ourselves with this.
Sure.
There's something that's really, really powerful that I'm going to share with you. soon on one of these calls, very soon. That's going to really change everything, make it so much easier for you to like get those really hard hitting facts of what Mike's talking about. Right now we're just practicing getting used to this idea of sharing your credibility first, your previous history, and how it's led you to what you're doing now. So you did a great job at that, Becky. Honestly, great job. I'm really, really proud of you, honestly. And again, just to the main feedback I have is make sure on like as a guest on our show, we want you to talk about the new economy or like what kind of problem it's caused. So on that note, Becky, let me just ask you a question. Do you have an answer for that? What has the new economy, what kind of problems has it caused for your industry?
I definitely do, because do you want me to tell you? Or?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Because I worked with a lot of managers who have always, it's easy for them to say, that's how we've always done it. And to be honest with you, the way people managed 10, 15, 20, 80 years ago is not going to fly with the new generations that are coming into the work environment. And they need to learn new management skills, new ways of working with these people, and they have to reach them where they're at, use the new technologies, know the communication, the right words. I mean, I have a 18-year-old grandson at home with me, and we talk about what does that mean so that I can learn them. But I found that a lot of them were struggling with going to the next level, learning what they need to do to survive in this new economy. So there we go.
Okay. Well, all right. So I just got to say, I mean, don't take this the wrong way. I'm going to tell you my point of view. It was hard for me to track what you were saying. Okay. All I want is one answer, just one sentence. What is the problem that the new economy has caused your industry? Becky, you don't have to answer right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can I say I did get it, because I've got kids I've got 3 kids that are like Becky's kids. So I totally got that, Becky.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Yeah. Hold on a second, you guys. Hold on. All right. Yeah. So the point of this is not to talk about, we're not getting into the specific details right now. I just want to share the principles of what we're looking for. And this is just for you to work on, to get better and better at. If somebody asks you, what is the problem that what is the problem that the new economy has caused in your industry? And this goes for everyone here, of course, not just Becky. I'm not just picking on you, of course. So, what is that one problem? You all should answer it, right away. That should be you should know what that problem is. It should be very specific. And the reason I said that it was hard to track is because I know I'm not the only one. It's the reason it was hard to track was because it was very, what's that called? Abstract. Like the language was very generic, I guess. So what I would like you to do, Becky, is to challenge yourself to be very concrete and very specific about what is that problem that has changed the whole industry. And because of that, because of that, people in my industry are struggling with what, fill in the blank. So, and it should be just one sentence, like one very clear, it could be summarized in one word, Are you able?
Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
I have a thought, actually. On your list where you had technology tools, platforms, apps, it sounds to me that the problem that Becky is solving is, and I think this goes for everybody, is that lay people are now finding themselves in management roles. And there's a lack of leadership out there. So all of a sudden, you have these people who, because of the new economy, they can create this business, but they don't have access to expert advisors like a big company has with an HR team. And Becky's advised executives, the highest end positions, and now with the new economy, she's able to bring that expertise to the masses, the people who need that expertise, but has been unattainable before.
Good point.
I really like the way that sounds. Great job. Thanks for sharing that melody. But Becky, is that resonating with you? Like, is that actually a spot on to what you're doing?
Yes. It's
Okay.
fun.
Right on. Awesome. So, Becky, write that down. Like this is your, this is for you. This is your.
I will. I'm going to go back and listen to it so that I can.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. And I appreciate you guys. I appreciate you playing along. And again, I'm not expecting you guys to be perfect right now. Of course, it's not going to be perfect. We all are growing together, and trust me, just stick around. It's going to make a lot more sense later on. Okay. When we give you some more really practical things that you can use for your message. Okay. I'm going to keep this as very simplified as possible. All right. So we have time for one more practice, one more little quick review of this before we move on to interviews. So anyone want to share their little 1-minute pitch here? Want to volunteer?
I'll try.
Okay. Who's that? Somebody.
This is Joe.
Oh, hey, Joe. Awesome. All right.
Yeah, for the last 20 years, I've helped, a lot of business owners, over 1,000 business owners in over 175 different industries. I help them transition their company or position them to move from $500,000 a year to $5 million a year. The new economy has left a lot of people high and dry in terms of a lot of companies are laying people off, and a lot of people want to start a new business, but there's been a big gap of people teaching the nuts and bolts techniques to start a business that really, really works. Because of that, a lot of people are trying to start businesses, and they're struggling with ways to make the business work, to generate the leads, to generate the sales, and to create a profitable business. Now I'm coaching startups with a program called Employee Escape Plan to help people start up a business and do it based on strong fundamentals, because success is inevitable when you master those strong fundamentals, and that's what I'm helping people do.
All right, great job. Let's give him another
good job, Joe.
Applause. All right, great. So awesome. That was very clean cut, very clear, and exactly what we were looking for. Of course, there are some things that could be a little more improved, and to just smooth it out a little bit. I did notice, Joe, you did kind of stumble a little bit just because you were trying to figure out what words. I could tell that you didn't know which direction you wanted to go, and you kind of just chose one, right? It's not like you didn't have this all written out and you didn't know.
I had none of it written out. I did it on the fly.
Yeah, I could totally.
But I rehearsed my answers before I raised my hand.
Right on. Well, great. I want to give some feedback on real quick. Will you share it on the very, very first call before our first call, the very preview call, when you were on the call? You shared some things about that. What we've learned about business is a big fat lie, something like that, right? Like,
right.
And so
everything you've learned about business is a big fat lie.
Yeah, that has a lot to do with what the problem is, and the new economy, causing people to want to create a business, but they go to school, try to learn business from old, outdated information, and it's not working. Like that, to me, just in my opinion, just because I know you a little more, I could say, like, I know that would be more of an interesting problem to bring up, just getting feedback. Right on.
Cool.
So you guys, do you guys get this? Again, you guys have this like just written out, and you practice it in front of the mirror, talk to your friends and anyone around you, get some feedback from them. Just have them do this, like check box if they did mention this or not. That would be a great exercise if you have a partner handy, someone who is willing to give you feedback. Just have them listen to you and see if you've mentioned everything here, right?
And you can just take a screenshot, actually, just as a reminder, guys, just to have it handy.
All right, cool. So let's get to the next thing. Some interviews now. Using all the information that has been in your head from today, just go ahead and just take a breath and just let it go. Just let it release it. And let's start from a fresh slate and let's get into some interviews, right? So who wants to be interviewed and actually practice what you've been learning today, last week, all this, in your mind, and as well as about whatever you feel comfortable with yourself sharing. So just go ahead and volunteer. Let's see. I would like to get someone who has not gone, if possible. But if you really want to go, just go ahead and share. Just raise your hand or just say yes, me. Unmute yourself. Adam, do you want to get interviewed?
I'll go for it. Sure. I'd love to.
Okay. All right. So we'll start with Adam.
Did you want me to do some interviews, or are you going to do them, Omar?
This is your segment here. So we're
okay.
gonna.
Then
you want to work with somebody else, then, Mike? It's totally fine.
No. But we are so. I just want to say a couple of things to kind of set the stage for this. What I love to hear a lot of different voices, not a lot of different opinions. Being a documentary director, I love getting things from different perspectives, different voices. So we're part of what Omar and I are also doing, guys, just to tuck this in the back of your brain. This doesn't have to be only Mike doing interviews, okay? It can be you guys learning how to do interviews, or me coaching you, or doing interviews, or interviewing other people. And I would also love to have co-hosts on the show. So I kind of want to put out a lot of those options for you guys and kind of keep those in your mind. One more thing, because I'm all, I want to help people get their incomes to where they want them to be. And I don't care if they are a State Farm agent. And what I mean by that is a State Farm agent, that's a tough story, okay? How do you make that unique? How do you go to your local chamber and network and, hey, I'm a State Farm agent. Well, so are 8 other people in the room here, So how do you make that distinction? Well, one of the things I'd like to plant in your brains for a future time, next week, the week after, whatever, to be thinking about the sociology of doing business, to know you, like you, trust you. So in other words, I've often said to clients, look, why don't you, are you already helping a nonprofit? Are you, teaching your kids ball or coaching your kids ball club? Are you, what are you doing in the community? Are you a founding member of a chamber of commerce or on the board of directors, or what are you doing to help the community? So we can concentrate on that and make you real and make that part of it, or make the problem you as a kid, that thing you always struggled with as a kid and you couldn't do, dyslexia, so you had a hard time getting into college, and then why did you choose going for that major in college, and why did that lead you to this, and about that relationship that hurt you or something, and how you really want to help empower women or the earth, and how you were raised, Adam, and that kind of thing. I think that's the sociology that a lot of people don't really think about. And in this day and age, I think the last thing we need to concentrate on is technology. There's no shortage of technology, and there's no shortage of information. So how can we be smart enough to really make that human-to-human connection so that people know us, like us, trust us, and are comfortable? So that's why, because people often say to me, well, why would you want to interview me? What would I have to say? And I go, my specialty is human interest stories. I will find that thing in you that if I have to dig down and interview you 5 times, or if you go do some homework and come back, I will find that thing that helps you to create that spark, that connection with other people. So I would like to see our initial interviews to be a little practice. Let me dig a little bit, ask some questions that really, aren't just part of that 30-second, pitch, that we do at Chamber of Commerce meetings. I think we can go a little bit deeper. So I would say, even if you don't, and a lot of it could end up on the cutting room floor, that's fine. But at least it opens up doors and creativity and things to think about. So I'd like the interviews to be a little more open, if that's okay.
A little bit more open by, what do you mean by that?
I might just, like as I'm listening to what they do, I might ask them a question about their past or something, or
Right. Okay.
that kind of thing. And hey, this is all practice. This is, you have to have a place to be bad to get good. You're among friends, and we all get it. I've been bad many times, so I've made more mistakes than anybody has a right to, and still be in business. So,
gotcha. Okay.
We're friends.
Right on. So just a real quick heads up, you guys. These are really short interviews just to kind of get you practicing. It's not like you got to be perfect, all right? But I do want you to strive for to get your message out there, and I want you to share. When he asks you, what do you do? If he does ask that question, you know what to say, right? You're going to start with your credibility, the things you've done before, and how you got to where you're at right now because of the new economy. All right, if you can throw that in there, you're going to be like so much further away, closer to getting on our show. Okay, and of course, when he's talking about, just a reminder, when he asks you questions, your answers, I want you to keep them really short. I want you to keep them like in 10 seconds, 15 seconds each. Try to keep this as professional as possible. Imagine yourself being on USA Today, okay? Just imagine it, right? And when they ask you a question about your how you grew up, you're not going to tell them every little thing that's happened every single year of your life, right? You're just going to tell them the main points of what you've done, whatever you need to share, the most important points, okay? And with that, each one is only going to get about 2 to 5 minutes, all right? So we can get some more interviews in, and we have some time for feedback. And just kind of go with the flow.
One more point about being interviewed, because let's say you go from this experience to being interviewed on talk radio stations around the country, and I have a list of the top 20 top one that have an audience of 100,000 or more. Well, those talk show hosts are going to ask you questions that may throw you off. So practice the discipline of transitioning back to your core message all the time. Well, that's interesting, because on my book in chapter 4, I mentioned that, Mike, or in my course or whatever. So, this is a good place to practice the discipline of staying focused on your message. So keep that handy, and I might even throw some challenges at you to see if you can get back to the core message. So, Adam, do you want to go? You mentioned you want to go. You want to go, bud?
And while
I'm ready.
Okay, and while we do the interviews, everyone else, I want you to listen and feel free to take notes. But listen for all those things that we talked about. See if they are. See if all the points are being brought up. The key points that we talked about. Your credibility and all that good stuff. I want you to, here's a little real quick lesson, okay? This is important. This is from Joel Roberts, right? Joel Roberts is my mentor in this whole thing, communication. Most of the stuff you're learning is passed on from him. He is absolutely the master at this, okay? So this is the big thing I want you to get, okay? He's not really a master. I mean, he is a master communicator, but he gets paid not for how he talks, but how he listens, all right? So what you guys got to get from that is it's about how you can hear, how you can listen to other people, how they're speaking and how they're presenting themselves. That's how you get better and better, all right? Just like watching 60 Minutes, for example. Watch that without being in an audience, but watch that as someone giving feedback, right? As if you were to give them feedback, or just pay attention and study them. That's how you get better and better at communicating, is by listening, okay, to the best, right? So anyway, with all that said, I want you guys to practice listening as well, who are not being interviewed. Listen for those things that we talked about, okay? So you're going to be giving feedback, all right? That's why I want you to listen. All right, so Mike, again, quick reminder, put yourself on a timer because we want it to be 3 minutes, all right?
Okay. Let me get out my watch here, my clock here, and we'll do it. Hold on one second. Um, okay.
All right.
All right. Here we go. Start. Bing. Okay. We're back now in New Money Media, and this time we have Adam Farber of Renewable. Oh, sorry, Adam. Renewable Dream Solar. Right? Did I nail it?
You got it, Mike. So
Bam.
I'm happy to be here, Mike. How's your day going?
Cool, buddy. Okay, great. Hey, now, you know what I loved about the story when we first talked is that you really grew up with a mentality of, the earth and the environment. So tell me a little bit about really where your core interest in solar came from.
I had the awesome experience that when I was a young kid in 1998, I lived off the grid in a really rustic, small solar system. And since that day, it's been close to 20 years now, I've been focused on helping, designing, installing. I've just been immersed in solar because I find it so fascinating that people can live off of the sun.
Well, and you're part of the new economy, and yet you've got a very rich life. Sometimes people think, oh, gee, the new economy, I find it kind of scary. But you found a way to really have a full family life, exercise, balance, and you've got your fingers in a number of different pies and interests. And here you are sitting in your car, and we can see your sunroof open. So that's the entrepreneur spirit, man. So tell me a little bit about how you've developed this full, rich family life to go with your interest in solar and business.
Well, I believe that, all your environments are kind of related, right? And so if you're lacking in one environment, maybe that's your health or your wealth, it's going to bring down all of your others. But if you can raise the bar in all your environments around, then it's going to just raise you to a totally new level. So, I don't think that it's just one environment. You need to focus on the big picture, the whole picture.
The balance in life, huh? And so you have found a way to solve problems for people that are sustainable. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, so what I've noticed is that there's a lot of the top solar companies have been going out of business. You see Sungevity went out of business. Tesla got bought, or Solar City got bought out by Tesla. These are some of the biggest names in the industry are losing money. And their main problem is that they've had a hard time and it's been too expensive for them to acquire customers, right? And so that they've been trying all these old ways of connecting with customers, knocking down doors. And what I'm doing is leading the national expansion, or actually international expansion, of one of the world's first solar energy platforms. And this is a way that people can share solar and learn solar from someone that they know, love, and trust, and work with some of the best already pre-vetted companies. So this is saving people time, and at the same time saving the solar companies that cost of acquiring and connecting with new customers.
Well, we've got the 3-minute mark here, and I've got a commercial that I've got to get in. But quickly tell me, what are you doing in your own local community to help, your community to thrive with solar?
So what we do and what we believe is that every single homeowner that goes solar with us, they get a free license to our platform. We're literally throwing solar parties at their home where they can invite their friends and family and the local people that live around them to expand solar. And this becomes a way that they can utilize the platform to pay off their solar system sooner and help more of the community go solar through this education through the platform.
Adam, thanks. And how do people get a hold of you who are interested in learning more about getting a solar system?
So the easiest way to get a hold of me is probably my phone number, 408-813-2497, or you can email me at adam@renewabledreamsolar.com. So
that's it. All right. Adam Farber, thanks for joining us.
All right, great job. That's awesome. Applause. All right. So any feedback, comments, things that you noticed, anyone want to share? Good? good feedback, anything, things to help him? Anyone want to share? Go ahead and unmute yourself.
Don't be shy. I want to hear it.
Anything you guys noticed? All right, so Melody, I see.
I liked how Adam was. It was just pleasant to listen to. It was always coming back into an upbeat response, no matter what it was, and it didn't sound like it was trying to get back into his pitch, but just sort of finding a way to move it back in a genial manner to what was both informative, responsive to the question, and could be was interesting to the audience. So good job.
Awesome. Right on. I noticed that as well. Melody, you want to share something?
Yeah. I'll put my microphone on. Yeah, Adam, you have a very likable, easygoing style. And Carl was talking about that, just kind of draws people in. You're very approachable. The only thing I noticed, I wasn't sure about the transition from companies losing money you started to talk about, which might be a really important point to this new platform that you're offering. But I mean, all in all, it sounded great, especially at the end when you were talking about this program that's going global, and it's accessible to anybody that wants to participate in it, which is kind of amazing and also part of the new economy.
Right on.
Awesome.
Great job. And so yeah, I mean, what I would do is, Adam, work on when you explain it, you say the platform. I know you really did do a good job by saying that it's a way for people to learn about solar from their friends and family, people that they love. And I think you might want to explain a little bit more, like, what is this exactly? It's a platform that does what? How does it work? So just write that as a note. There's just a FYI there on a interview, anytime you're explaining anything, it's what, why, and how. Okay. So what, why, and how, as long as you get those three, you're at least you're pretty golden. All right. Then you can go into more detail if you need to. You can share how much, like more stats, or I can't remember the other one. There's some more. What, why, how much?
I have a key point that I want to know from Adam, and for Adam to think about, because I'd like to know what audience Adam is talking to. And Mike, I'm going to bring you as a panelist right now to join us. Because I think there's the solar home owner, but then I want to know from Adam about the startup, if he was talking about the challenge of getting new clients because of the business opportunity of the new company. And so, there's if that's true, then there's the part of the conversation that is recruiting potential people to join the company. And one more point about what Sunil does. He wants to have 100 million happy entrepreneurs, and I forget the year, but I think that mission statement really rings with people, and I think if Adam said something like, I personally want to see, 10 million houses or a million, or some huge number.
Our goal is 2 million homes by 2025.
There you go. I think a mission statement like that really rings with people, makes you human. I personally.
Right on.
Awesome. I think Sunil would agree with that.
Right on.
Awesome feedback, everyone. Thank you very much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And I think what I was really trying to do, and I think I got to work in front of the mirror a little bit, was connect this problem with solar companies connecting with their customers and the cost of acquiring customers with an uncertainty in the customer's mindset of which company to trust, which company to go with. And certainly I've been working definitely on dialing in the target audience, right?
I think you got to go with somebody you like, and I like you. So I think that's a good thing.
One more thing I want to say is you didn't mention your engineer thing. I like that you keep saying that whenever I hear you on Sunil's Mastermind or on our Mastermind. I remember you mentioned, you've been a solar panel engineer. I can't remember the actual word you used, but I think weaving that in it's got to be in the story somehow. You got to put that in. That's your credibility, So
Yep.
that was what the one thing that I felt was lacking was, like what's so great about you? We call that, or what gives you the right. We call it the ETR, earn the right statement. Okay, so it's like that's your credibility. It's about what makes you credible in this topic. So when Mike asked you about your previous, where you grew up, how you grew up, start to explain the story about how you became an engineer and then moving it on to the next level, what you're doing now,
Totally.
Right on. Awesome. All right, cool. So we are at the end of the call, technically at the time. But I want to just check in if anyone wants to go ahead and do this. If you want to get a chance to be interviewed and have us give you feedback, I'm going to respect everyone's time and allow you guys to leave if you need to. But if you guys are getting value from this, which I imagine you are, and if you're able to, if you have the time, stick around for another 5-10 minutes, and we can interview one more person. Okay.
Omar, Mike, is it Lamoth, Mike? Can you unmute or come on, or can we say hello to Mike?
I don't know. I've been trying to do that. Mike, are you able to unmute yourself? Welcome, by the way. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Mike. I don't know. I'm trying to unmute him.
Okay.
All right. So, and real quick, before we go, one more thing. I'm going to just put a link in the chat box. Most of you should already have this link, but in case you don't, and you're not a part of the program right now, media, you can click on that link to join at the best price you'll ever see. We're going to raise the price, all right, you guys? It's coming. We're going to be raising it. It's a $2,000 value just for being in this program. And right now it's available for $497. And if you want the VIP level, you get to be featured on our show as a featured guest, meaning we're going to promote you over and over again on our show and have a 10-minute segment with just you at the very end. So you're 100%. You're the special guest feature guest on our show. So anyway, that is a $8,000 value, and right now we're offering it for $2,000. Okay, I think it's we put 8 or 10,000. I can't remember. Anyway, that link I put in there if you want to get more details. But let's continue on. If you guys are cool, let's start. Let's do one more interview. Who wants to be brave enough to go ahead and just unmute yourself and say yes? First person to do that will get the spotlight. Nobody wants to go?
Practice.
Really? Nobody? Okay, Carl. Just unmute yourself.
Okay.
Hey, Carl.
All right. So, Mike, we're going to keep this at the same 3 minutes. And I really appreciate you guys for sticking around. And, if you want to listen to this is going to help you as well. Training your ears to. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, we're back now. This time we have. Oh, Carl, I don't want to butcher your last name. Is it
Sjogren? Sjogren.
So
you can say Sjogren.
Sjogren.
Yeah, there's an umlaut over the O. It doesn't mean a darn thing in English.
Call him Carl. Just call him Carl, Mike. And Carl. Just for the record, I just want to say something. Again, this is all practice. Mike, you can reset the clock.
Yeah.
I want to say something real quick for everyone's information. This is all practice. You can literally talk about a company that you don't even own. You can pretend that you're someone that you're not. It doesn't matter. If you don't have something already right now, this is all just for practice. But if you do have something, you have a company, whatever it is, you might want to practice with whatever you're doing. All right.
Yeah, absolutely. It's all practice, guys. And so it's just role playing, really. That's just practice. So anyway, we are back now with Carl Sjogren. Carl, welcome.
All right. Nice to be here, Mike.
Well, it's nice to have you. Tell us about what you're up to now. Here's what I'm doing in the new economy. I run the New Economy Chamber. What are you doing in the new economy, Carl?
Well, I'm trying to help other people deal with it. I've been for almost 30 years a CFO for startups and turnarounds. And I've also been an entrepreneur. And during that time, I've helped companies either prepare to raise money or to improve their performance. One thing I've learned about the new economy is that there is a lot more interest in entrepreneurship, both on the side of building a business, but also on the side of investors looking to invest. One problem that both parties are having is how to value an idea. And so what I am developing is an idea I'm putting forth in a book called the Fair Share Model, is an idea for how to value an idea, an unproven company, in an initial public offering.
Carl, you are somebody that I really want to be able to ask some questions of, because I help out at a jobs ministry, and a lot of people have been laid off. They're going to have to embrace the world of becoming an entrepreneur. And you're a guy that spent a lifetime now practically working with entrepreneurs. Help me give some encouragement to people about, not holding on to their job with a death grip, that there's life as an entrepreneur and there's comfort and fun and creativity. But talk a little bit about that for people who may be not sure they want to become an entrepreneur. What would you say to them?
Well, they're probably wise, because it's very difficult and risky to be an entrepreneur. And I think sometimes people are driven to do that because they do have a good idea. And they want to give it a try. But I think for most of us, we're just trying to get by and figure out how to survive and meet our basic needs. For them, there's still opportunities as an employee for an entrepreneurial company, or perhaps they might be a small investor in one. I'd say that the big thing that people should be looking at is putting themselves in an area where there's something going on. There's something in this new economy that is a growing area. And then recognize that you're there. That's the hard part. Sometimes we look at this tumult that we're in, and we feel like we're a victim or being swept away by it. But there is opportunity there at different levels. Could be as a consumer, could be as an entrepreneur, could be as an employee, or as an investor. So it's a wonderful place to be paying attention to, because that's where the new opportunities will emerge from, and the new skill sets that people need in order to operate in that economy.
Let me put my question to you in a slightly different way. I believe that because 40% of companies are now hiring their kind of quote unquote who used to be entrepreneurs as resources or independent freelancers. And so I think it's very important to help people understand that you need to position yourself as a resource, maybe position yourself as an independent entrepreneur just to get hired by companies. Now, just because you get hired as a freelancer doesn't mean you can't still make. I know friends who have hired people $1 million a year as a freelancer. So you can still make a lot of money, but I think it's important to understand that companies are really looking more and more toward independence and private branding yourself as a resource in this new economy. Any thoughts about that?
Yeah, I think there's an interesting comment I once heard from a fellow who was the CEO of a company that turned out to be very successful, and it was eventually acquired by a large company. But he would bemoan whether his employees were thinking like entrepreneurs. When they came up with ideas, he would ask, if it was your money, would you spend it this way? And so I think there's a benefit of entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial thinking for everybody, no matter what what role they're playing in the economy or what they would like to do. So the levels of insight that one gets by thinking about an entrepreneur as an entrepreneur.
Very good. Carl Sheridan, thanks for joining us.
Nice to be here.
All right, guys. Did Carl get back to the core? I was kind of disrupting some patterns there a little bit. So what did you think?
Sorry, Mike, you kind of cut out on my end. I didn't hear the question. Can you say it again?
Oh, did you guys think that Carl got back to the core message? I was kind of disrupting some of his patterns or, his thoughts by asking questions he might not be used to. So do you guys think he got back to his core message?
All right, there's a lot about background noise. I don't know what side that you're on. If you're gonna, can you just mute yourself, everyone, please? I don't know what happened with my controllers. I can't mute people for some reason. All right, so does anyone have feedback for Carl? Let's just get that out of the way. I wanna just check. All right, Melody, go ahead and unmute yourself.
Yeah. So first of all, Carl, you definitely sound like an expert. You've been CFO, you've worked with startups and turnarounds, and I think it's a really interesting idea that you have for your book with the fair share model. I am not really sure what is your core message. Are you promoting the book?
Good. I assume that is what you're promoting.
I will be once I am in a position to be interviewed.
Right on. So I want to give this little tip, you guys. Great for bringing that up. Thank you, Melody. Even if you don't have your book out right now, but you're going to, just pretend that you already do, right? Pretend your website's already created. Pretend your book is already published. Whatever it is you're promoting, just make sure that, pretend it's already done and start to promote it. Start to, how do you promote it, So
there you go.
Awesome. But what Melody brought upon my attention is also the same thing I kind of realized is, you were talking about things, some really good stuff. You were sharing some really cool stuff, but it had nothing, you didn't bring it back to your book. All right. So whatever you're promoting, like Mike said, you want to, he threw some curveballs at you, but you want to get that and just bring it back to whatever you're promoting. Okay. All right, cool.
I just have one other comment as well. The only other thing that I wasn't sure about was it sounded like you were advising against being an entrepreneur, but your book is about how to value an entrepreneurial idea. So that might be a conflicting message. It's not for the faint of heart for sure, and those people that get into entrepreneurship probably need all the help they can get. And
it's an interesting dichotomy there. Because most businesses fail. Most entrepreneurs wind up running up large credit card debts. There's something about our human nature that seeks us to take a chance and to pursue some dream. But at the same time, you need some realistic thinking. So it's not just magic powder all the way around. But it's a mark of a vibrant economy when you have people who are willing to start businesses, invest in them, work for them below perhaps market wages, or to be a customer and try a product that's new.
Right on. So I want to just say something. What Melody shared is really, really, really powerful. If you pay attention to this, this is the main message here is Carl, this goes for everyone, all right? Now, of course, if you're sharing something about whatever your topic is, that is your topic. And let's say your book, you have a book and you're selling that book. That's your goal. Your goal is not to talk about other stuff or politics or whatever else. We're talking about on this show, for example, the new economy and how a book can solve a problem that the new economy has, started to create for people. Now, I just want to say what I'm trying to say here is the topic of you saying your point of view of how, people who want to start a business, people who don't want to start a business, they're wise. When you said that, they're wise because, the businesses are failing. That is a very big thing. That's like that was very impactful. Okay. It was a very impactful statement. But the question is, did it lead people to your book? If it doesn't, my suggestion is just leave it out, unless it's really, really crucial. You have them getting to the main point, which is getting your book. So anyway, we all have points of view.
Comment on that as well, because I agree with what Melody said and what Omar is saying, Carl, for a couple of reasons. I get you've got 30 years, but I've been around entrepreneurship 30 years, and entrepreneurship has changed dramatically, over the last 30 years. I don't think it's the same animal today that it used to be. And candidly, it may feel good to you to say that because it is challenging. But what about all the people that are out of work and are facing entrepreneurship for the first time? I think those are the people that, we want to comfort and guide and help. And, there's people that have made $1 million teaching people with a video how to quilt, so the world of entrepreneurship has changed. And I think it's very, very important that we're current. There's these platforms where you can sell your course on Fiverr or WeWork, or a lot of different places, or Udemy. They didn't exist 30 years ago. So I think we have to be very current in how we talk about entrepreneurship today. That's just kind of my take on it.
And just real quick, Carl, before you go into it, I don't want this to be an argument. It's nothing to do with anything about.
It's not an argument. It's feedback.
Yeah. Well, what I want to share, my point is, when you say this is not about Carl, again, this is really for everyone watching this replay, everyone. When you say something that has nothing to do with your topic, it derails the conversation, and in other words, it really literally gets people's attention off the rails and on a totally different direction. And they might even just block off everything you say from that point forward. So that's why it's really important that you know what you do want to say, and you know what you should not even bring up, and just stick to the most important things that are going to lead them to your main points. It could be a book, it could be a topic, it could be something you believe in, whatever it is. I'm just saying, leave out the stuff. Like if I said the word Donald Trump, everyone has something going on in your mind right now, right? And everything I say after following intently, like, oh, what is he going to say? Or you might be saying, oh, what? I want to change the station. I don't want to listen to this anymore. That's just the way it works. So that's just an example. Again, whenever you say something like that, just make sure you know what you're doing, and you're going to lead it to the main point of what you're trying to accomplish in that conversation. All right, cool. So anyway, there will be some exercises to help you figure out those points, those good talking points, and the points that are not worth talking about ever. And just stick around, continue going to these calls, and you'll get that. All right. Okay, cool. So that was a great lesson. I just wanted to wrap that up. I think this is good enough here. Thanks for everyone being here. This has been quite an extended call today, and I appreciate you guys sticking around. We will wrap it up now. Have an awesome.
When is the next one?
It's every Thursday, the same time, the same place, every week. And you are welcome to join us in the open house, but these will end very soon. Okay, when we raise the price, it's going to happen. I mean, I'm just giving you a heads up. It's going to be raised, and we will no longer allow people to come on as open house guests. Right. So anyway, just to respect the people who are actually paid members. Yeah. Anyway, but for now, you are still invited. All right, everyone who is watching this, or anyone who's not in the program, right?
Well, they can come to the Saturday sessions too.
Yeah, well, the Saturday is a different thing. That's the Mastermind. But yeah, so we'll wrap it up. Mike, you want to stop the recording?
Yeah.
End it. All right, guys. Have a great rest of your day.
Hold on.
Thank you again. Have a good one.
Okay.
Bye.
I got it. Okay. Thanks, Carl.
All right.
Hope you're
See you,
cool
Mike.
with that.
Bye-bye.
Okay, good. Thanks, bud.